Hi viewers, this is Balakrishna Reddy, Physics faculty, going to explain 10th standard CBSE lesson, Human Eye and Colorful World. So, till now we were discussed in previous videos refraction of light, how refraction takes place in day to day in our general life. Okay, some more applications of diffraction also we are going to discuss in this lesson. Okay, so please have the video and like it, share it, and subscribe it also. If any suggestions, please give me wisely. Then I'll produce a good videos. Depends on your feedback. Thank you very much. Have a video. Now I'm going to share a screen. In the screen, I'm going to explain the human eye and colorful world topic for you. Okay. So a human eye and colorful world is a topic you are seeing here. This is the human eye and the colorful world. This is explaining by Balakrishna research. You can see here what we are finding a human eye. See, the diagram of human eye is most important for exam orientation also. Please, while you're drawing, draw it very properly. Okay. So, what is this human eye? What is the function of human eye? We need to discuss. We need to discuss here major parts which contribute the formation of the image by the refraction process. Here, this is a complete human eye block diagram you're seeing. The first thin part you're seeing, this is a small layer. This is called conjunctiva. This conjunctiva is a front layer of the human eye. Then followed by that, you are having the cornea, this one, the layer which you are seeing, little yellowish. That's we call cornea. And the next, we are having pupil. The pupil is in front of the lens, which we are having. This is a lens, it is in a shape of convex. And this lens is fixed between the two muscles. Okay, that is ciliary muscles, you can see here. And above the ciliary muscles and little above the lens, there is a diaphragm either sides. This diaphragm is called as iris. Iris has unique nature. Every human being is having only unique iris. Means iris varies from human to human. Okay, that's why the iris also will be taken while we are taking like Aadhaar cards or when we are talking about the human identification. Iris is most important. There is a chance of very less fingerprints may same, but iris cannot be. So that's why while taking identification, we'll prefer the photograph of iris. Now, these are the ciliary muscles. If these muscles will be weakened, this lens will become weak and loose. By that, the lens get displaced forward direction, backward direction. Due to that, the image will not form on a screen properly. So, due to that, we will get the eye defense that we'll discuss in coming topic. Now, after this, you are seeing a suspensory ligament. Suspensory ligament with the ciliary muscles will hold the lens. Then after you are having the shape of this eyeball which you are finding outside is called as sclera. Okay, this sclera is the outline of this eye will change depends on the eye defects. And after that you are having here a retina which you are seeing here eye nerves. This eye nerves covered area is total is act as a retina. Retina is nothing but here like a on screen. Okay, means whatever the light which is entering through this convex lens, okay, so it will converge and forms the image on the retina. Next, followed by the retina, you are having along the layer fovea, and at that place you are finding here some branches, nothing but these all optic nerves. These optic nerves will identify the image which is falling on the retina and sends electric pulses to the brain. Therefore brain will detect so and so image. This is which is formed on a screen. So image identification has done by the brain, but the image pulses through the optic nerves, it will send to the brain. This is basic idea about the human eye. Little more, what are the changes takes place? Here we are having vitreous humorous liquid. Okay, to it's filled entire this ball. Okay, through this liquid only the light rays will be refract, that we will see in the next screen. Now, what we are having, what is a human eye? Whatever we were discussed till now. Human eye is a sensitive organ in a human. Human eyes act like a camera because from human eye concept only the camera has designed whatever the light rays refracted through the human eye, it will be inverted on the screen. Okay, so it is acting like a camera. It's having a lens system, forms a image, light sensitive, called a retina. The screen which is falling the light rays after passing to the lens is called as retina, which we were discussed. Now, the eyeball, the complete eyeball is almost spherical in shape, is having the diameter around approximately 2.3 centimeter. The light enters through the transparent membranes is called cornea, the front layer which was seen. And after the cornea, you are having a muscular diaphragm. Just now I told the unique nature which is having, that is iris in human beings. Also, there is a, as intensity of light varies, our lens size will increase and decrease. That is nothing but which has an opening and closing called pupil. This pupil will control the amount of light which is entering into the eye. By more intensity of light, whenever it will come, then automatically eyeball and the eye lens gets protected by pupil by closing. And at the same time, if at certain times the intensity of light is very less or dim, then that time we will widen our eyeball and our lens, therefore we can see the clear image. In such case, the pupil will play greater role. Now, the eye lens helps to focus the image of an object on a cornea, on retina, sorry, on retina, because we were discussing in a previous slide. See, through the cornea, through the lens, if lens is placed at the suitable position, then the light rays which are entering to the lens is converged properly on the screen of the retina. The image will form on a retina. Okay, so this is because of the distance between the screen and lens supposed to have fixed or proper distance, suitable focal length it should have. If it is not there, means why it will not be available at times, because there are the ciliary muscles helps to change the curvature of the lens and to change its focal length. Certain times when you are raising your eyeball and you are decreasing, depends on the intensity of light, or when you are seeing the small objects or when you are seeing the larger objects, there is a contraction and expansion will take place in eyeball. That usually we will do that with our human eye, like raising your hand and keeping. Okay. In such case, the ciliary muscles plays a very good role. The ciliary muscles, if it will be weakened, then that leads to eye defects that we will discuss. Now, working of the eye, how eye is working. See just now, the eye lens forms a real inverted image. Since it is a convex lens, we were discussed, convex lens is a converging lens. All the light rays which are passing to the convex lens will converge, right? So therefore, these light rays after converging, the image will become inverted on a retina. Now, on the retina, there are the sensitive cells, and the sensitive cells attached to the optic nerves. Through that, the pulse of the image in a form of electrical signals will pass to the brain, and the brain will detect the particular information which has fallen on a retina or the image, whatever it is. This is the way the eye functions. Now, the most important thing which we have to understand in this lesson regarding the human eye, power of accommodation of the eye. What is this power of accommodation of the eye? Means whatever the human eye can see the distance or the ability to see the distance, at what length it can find the image of an object, or at what length it can able to see very clearly. Such ability, that focal length, is called as power of accommodation of the eye. Usually, power of the lens we will describe reciprocal of the focal length. Okay, reciprocal of the focal length is called power of the power of the eye. We will call here power of accommodation of eye. Means some people can see long distance, some people can see very near distance also, but some people not able to. Depends on their eyesight, right? So, in such case, this power of accommodation is useful. This how it is useful in the sense depends on the power of accommodation. They will have their far point and near point. See, what do you mean by far point? What do you mean by near point? Before going to that, what the eyeball is having inside. Front parts we have discussed: front layer, cornea, and lens, ciliary muscles, iris, and followed by that we were discuss retina and optic nerves, sclera we was discussed. In the middle, I have told there is a liquid is available. What type of liquids are those? The eye lens is composed of a fibrous jelly-like a material. Okay, eye lens. This is normal. Our practical lens are transparent medium. They are very thicker, like in a glass material. But whereas in the human eye, the lens is fibrous jelly-like material. It is. Its curvature can be changed when you are extending the ciliary muscles or changing the ciliary muscles. The change in the curvature of the eye lens can change its focal length. Just now I told you, when you want to see smaller object near distance and longer distance, there is a change or contraction and expansion will take place in the case of human eyeball. That happens due to the ciliary muscles. That means by that what is doing usually when ciliary muscles expands and compress, there is a change in the focal length of lens will take place. Means the image falls on the screen is different manner. So when the muscles are relaxed, the lens becomes thin and the focal length increases. Focal length increases when the muscles are relaxed, when you are seeing normal eye. Okay, when you are seeing normal eye, the muscles are in relaxed position. Otherwise, when you need to find out a small image, there is a contraction. When you wanted to see a longer distance, then you have to expand. So in that case, it is not relaxing. So therefore, in that focal length decreases. Now, when the muscles contract, the lens becomes thick and the focal length decreases. When muscles are relaxed, the focal length will be increases. Near point and far point. What is a near point? The near point is nothing but the human eye can able to see the nearest distance is called near point. You can see, you're seeing, now I'm explaining, you're seeing the screen, you're seeing this video, you're trying to understand, and you're following that PPT also. While you're following this PPT, what happened? You're seeing every line and you're following the every explanation. So while you're following every explanation, if you're keeping the video very near to your eye, you cannot see very clearly. But if you are keeping it like a comfort distance, like at 25 centimeters, then you can see very comfortably. Beyond the 25 centimeters, if you keep your screen, it's very difficult to see. Though you can see, your eye will get pain within a short interval of time, right? So the comfort distance which you are able to see the image from your eye is called as near point, or that is also called as least distinct vision. That is for every human being is 25 centimeter. That's why we will hold the book like this, we'll hold the mobile like this distance, and we will study. Now, coming to the far point. In the case of far point, person to person, the far point is maybe changes. A adult person who is good at health across his eyes also, and that person can see longer distance very clearly. I can see longer distance that some hills I can see. On the hills there are the trees I can see. Whereas some people only can see the hills, cannot see the trees. It depends on their eyesight. So the farthest point or the farthest distance up to the eye can detect the object or can see the object clearly is called as far point of that eye. Okay. Normally the far point we will take from the 25 centimeters to the infinite distance we will take. Okay. This is all about the far point and near point. So this is about human eye. In a human eye, I told just now there are some defects depends on the position of the lens. See, defects of vision and their correction. How the defects comes, first of all. When we know the problem, then we can find a solution, right? So first try to understand how this problem arises, why this defect has come. So that we are going to discuss now. First case you are seeing here, myopia or nearsightedness. Myopia, nearsightedness is a common eye defect. Will get maximum out of 10 is almost 6 to 7 people will get this. All the people can see near distance very properly. That's why it is nearsightedness. But they cannot see the far distance. Like in our classroom, there are some students are having the spectacles. They are not able to see what is going on a board, but they can see what is there in their notebook. Such type of defect is called as myopia or nearsightedness, right? Myopia or nearsightedness. Why does arise? Why it has arisen in the sense, see here, this is a position of the lens. If lens position is suitably as proper, then the image gets converted and will form on a screen, the image. So that became inverted, that gets detected. But since what happened in this case, the image instead of forming on the screen, it is forming before the screen. Okay. So why it is happening? Due to displacing in the ciliary muscles, there is a increasing in curvature it is taking place. Increasing in curvature whenever it is happen, when curvature has increased, the lens has displaced little forward direction. Little forward direction. That's why this front part, who are having the eyesight, this front part you can, if you notice, that looks like a little fatty, or it has come out like sharply, it's look like. Okay. So means the curvature has increased in that case, therefore there is a increase in the length of the eyeball. If increasing in the length of the eyeball, what will happen usually? Therefore, the image will not form on the screen since the lens has this space. For avoiding this, for avoiding forming the image in front of the retina, to have image on the retina, we have to correct this. Means what happened? The light rays has converged before before the screen. So means what we need to do here, we need to do little more. This light ray is supposed to diverge. Then therefore the converging takes place on the retina. For that purpose, the remedy lens or the correction is I'm using here concave lens, bioconcave lens or double concave lens I have used. When I have used double concave lens, the light rays which are entering, which are supposed to directly diverge, instead of converging, they are little more diverging. After that, they are converging. When they get little more diverged from its actual path, then therefore the divergent light rays will take little more distance to converge. So after traveling through this convex lens, then it is forming straight on the retina. It is converging on the retina. Therefore, the image is forming on the retina is inverted form. In inverted form, the image is forming. That's fine. So how to place this correction lens means when we will find the defect in eye, how much amount of the length of the eyeball has changed. Okay, how much the curvature has changed. Nothing but the focal length, how much it has changed. I told just now in the definition. Reciprocal of focal length is nothing but power. Okay, power of the lens. Nothing but power of the eye also here. So this power of the eye can be changed by changing the thickness of the lens. So how much it has changed, that much amount of lens thickness if you are using in a case of concave lens, then that will be perfect rectification for that lens. How much lens uh, has formed before. That is a we will treat as defect in a eye. That much amount of diopters is having the problem or focal length of the lens is having the problem in a defect if you find. So as per that, we will make a lens. Okay, we will order to the optician. The optician will make the lens as the way how much defect is available from the optician. From the optician, if you are wearing this concave lens, then the suitably the image is forming on the retina. Therefore, we can overcome eye defect of myopic eye. Therefore, we can see what is going on board very properly. This is happened due to these two basic reasons: increasing in curvature of the lens, increasing in the length of the eyeball. Okay, due to these two, it is happened. It can be corrected by using suitable concave lens. Okay. Now, the second defect, farsightedness. This is also called as hypermetropia. Farsightedness. This is also called as hypermetropia. What is this farsightedness and hypermetropia? When you are seeing the hypermetropic eye, in that case, the lens has displaced little inside, means the curvature of the lens has decreased and the focal length also has decreased. Then the image is forming instead of retina, beyond the retina, nothing but beyond the screen, the image is forming. Means the light rays are converging at far distance. Due to that, this far-sightedness arises. They can see longer distance, they cannot see near distance. Okay, so how much it has converged at longer distance, so that much the defect can be taken, and for that we need to converge at actual position that is at the retina. For that purpose, we have to use the remedy lens or corrector lens is convex lens only. Why we are using convex lens? Convex lens, since it is a converging lens, the light rays will converge instead of diverging and at converging at longer distance. Okay, so the divergence of light rays whenever you decrease, then it converge at the actual position as the how much length it has varied or defected in the hypermetropic eye. So that much thickness of the lens if you are using, that is convex lens if you are using. Then when light rays passes through the convex lens, it start converging from here itself. Whereas in this case it is converging from here after the eye lens, but Here, before the corrective lens which you are using, from that only the converging started. After converging to this lens, again it get converged to the eye lens and convert combine the light rays on the retina. Therefore, on the retina, the image will form. This is happen basically decrease in curvature of eye lens and decrease in the length of the eyeball. This is happen due to decreasing in curvature of eye lens and decreasing in the length of the eyeball. This gets corrected by suitable lenses, convex lens. This is a two basic eye defects. Apart from this, we are having one more eye defect. This is called as presbyopia. Okay, this presbyopia is usually arises. Those two arises any genetical problems or any vitamin problems usually. But presbyopia is arise for almost all 90% of the human beings whoever reach their age around 40 above and 50 like that, because in such people the ciliary muscles gets weakened by age increasing, their muscles will be weakened. So due to that the lens will be displaced. Whatever the eye lens which you are using or which is there will be little weak by the muscles. If the eye lens little weak in the sense they are not able to see very smaller distance or nearest distance as well as far distance also. So usually it comes with their age. When we also grown up, there is a chance that we will also get such type of muscle weakened problems and all. So it comes for every human being almost normally. So in this case, it is a combination of two defects, hypermetropia as well as myopia. Okay. So, so this defect gets covered by using the bifocal lens. Bifocal length in the sense we have to use here convex lens as well as concave lens. You might have noticed the elderly people will wear the lens having in middle there is a cord like a line you can see in the one lens in the middle there is a line either side. Okay, so that line is dividing, one is concave lens, other one convex lens. When you need to see longer distance, the above it is having concave lens. And when you wanted to read anything to overcome hypermetropia, we are having down convex lens. So that's why when they wanted to see longer distance, they'll raise their head. After though they wore spectacles, they raise their head and see, because from the upper part they'll see the objects. And whereas coming to here, when they are reading anything, the lens from the bottom lens they need to see. So that time the lens comes on the nose and they'll read like this, right? So this is happen because of the weakening of muscles. Okay, that is the presbyopia usually. Now, till now we were discussed eye defects we have completed and human eye part we have completed. Okay, you need to remember basically presbyopia, hypermetropia and their corrections, and myopia and its correction. Okay, why it arises, that is also important, and power of accommodation, least distinct vision. Okay, and as well as far distance, nothing but infinite distance. We have to remember, and all labeling of the eye diagram with each and every part very properly. Okay. Now, refraction through a glass prism. Here, refraction of light through a glass prism. When you're taking any glass prism, usually this is the one glass prism you are seeing here. First, in 12th standard you learn more. Now, if you see here, this you wanted to study, first try to understand. It looks like so much chaos it is appearing there. First, let us say this is a denser medium. This is all nothing but one glass medium is completely three-dimensional. Here you are seeing only plain picture, outside air, inside the glass. The light ray which is entering. Okay, if you are taking the prism, usually the angle of prism we will take A, since it is equilateral prism, uh, and the light ray which is incidenting. See here, this light I have taken here, let us say any monochromatic light, so it will not disperse. So we are not talking about dispersion now, we are talking about only deviation. So when the light ray is incident, if I draw normal to this surface, see this is incident angle, and it bends towards the normal. This is the normal, and it is bending towards the normal. Whenever it bends towards the normal, this I am taking as a refracted light ray, right? This incident light ray, this is refracted light ray. This is happen at first interface of prism. This is the first interface of prism. Then this light ray is passes through this prism, and again it is facing second refraction at second interface of the glass and air medium. So again this light ray is supposed to go out. Due to the refraction, it is bending by changing the medium. So when it has bent after changing its medium towards normal, it is not bending, it is bending away from the normal. See here, this is a normal light ray. The light ray is bending in this direction, whereas it is bending towards the normal. It has bent, it is bending away from the normal. Means when light ray passes from denser to rarer medium, it bends away from the normal, and when it passes from rarer to denser medium, it bends towards the normal. This we have studied in the previous videos of refraction of light. So in the same manner, it is bending away from the normal. So this is a second refraction of the light. Okay, at the second interface. But here, instead of writing refraction, instead of taking the angle refraction, which is mainly the normal, I'm taking emergence. Why I took as emergent angle? Because the light ray which has come out from the denser medium, we call it as emergent light ray. So the emergent light ray which is making with the normal is called as angle of emergence. So this is a actual process will take place in a prism. But here one more important thing is that what is the angle of deviation? Before knowing to the angle of deviation, we need to know what do you mean by deviation. Deviation is nothing but how much the path of light ray has changed its path from its original to the other. Means actually the light ray is going like this. If there is no prism here, it could have traveled like this, right? Here you are seeing the long distance which has extended from the inside light ray. It could have traveled like this, but due to the prism, it has bent towards the normal, and again it has entered, and again it has, after entering into the denser medium, it has emergent out to the rarer medium. So then that time, emergent light ray also, if you are extending back, okay, they'll meet at one point. This is the meeting position of the incident light ray and emergent light ray. Okay, so after they met, there is some vortex has formed. At this vertex, if I'll put the D is nothing but what? Not this D, I'm using the protractor. If I'll place the protractor here or in this direction or in this direction, any direction if I'll place, I can find the angular distance from here to here. Okay, the distance between the emergent light ray and incident light ray is gives us angle of deviation. Angle of deviation. What do you mean by angle of deviation? How much the light ray has deviated from its original path is measured with the angle of deviation. Actually, that comes when emergent light ray and incident light ray met at particular point. There we will take as angle of deviation, the distance between them. See here, the emergent ray is deviated by an angle to the incident ray. This angle is called as angle of deviation. Okay, this is happen when a monochromatic light, if you are sending, will bend and it will emergent out. If you are extending it back, then they'll meet at one point. The meeting point we can try as an angle. That angle is called angle of deviation. Okay. This is about the refraction of light through prism. Now, dispersion. In previous video also we were discussed. Again, we will discuss very clearly. Dispersion is a phenomenon of refraction of light when a light ray passes, white light ray especially, when a white light ray passes through the prism, the light gets split into its constituent colors and it emerge out towards the away from the normal, nothing but towards its base of the prism it will bend. In previous slide also you can take the light ray which has entered here bending towards the base. Again, the light ray which is emerging out also bending towards the base. Both cases it's bending towards the base. Okay. Here also the light ray after splitting, though it is splitting also it is deviating. Okay. After deviating it is bending towards its base. But after splitting, first from the down, violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red colors spectrum will form. Okay, this is the splitting of light in terms of a band of colors is called as spectrum. Okay, we have absorption spectrum and emission spectrum. This is we are taking as a emission spectrum, the light rays which are emitting out when the white light gets splitted. Now, this is very clearly has given. When a beam of white light is passed through a glass prism, it splits up into a band of colors is called spectrum. This phenomena is called as dispersion of light. Okay, so that you can see here. Since the red light is having the longer wavelength, it bends very less, whereas violet and blue is having less wavelength, they bend more. Okay, this is all about the dispersion of white light which forms with your colors like this. The order of the colors must be remembered. This is always denoted in downward direction only. This is all about the dispersion. Now, when a white light passes through a prism, the spectrum has formed, the band of colors has formed. The band of colors again we can also regain. How? Recombined. How it is? When you use the same angular prism in inverted manner, where the spectrum has formed at that position, if you are placing the prism in inverted manner such a way that the spectrum should fall on a second prism, then from there the light rays will be recombined. From there light rays will get recombined, and the moment how white light entered into the first prism, it will start splitting, and after emergent also it will be splitted completely by bending towards the base, and at the same time it is entering in a prism, in inverted prism, nothing but in a second prism. The way it is entered, it starts recombining slowly and it gets recombined and it emergent out away from the normal in a form of white color. So we recombine the white light from a band of colors, that is spectrum. This is we call as recombination of the spectrum of white light produces white light. Rainbow. In previous video also we were discussed. Once again I am giving you the small revision of rainbow. See the sunlight which is entering into the one water drop here we are considering. Through this it will be entered. After entering it has refracted. Instead of refracting straight, it is reflecting back in the same medium because of total internal reflection process. Okay, the light ray which is refracting here, which is incident, it is having more than its critical angle of air and water interface, more than the 42 angle, 42 degrees angle. Therefore, it is reflecting in the same medium. That phenomena is called as total internal reflection. Therefore, after reflecting inside, again it refracts. If you obtain any screen or nothing but on a sky, you will find the band of colors as in a form of one line. Here, band of colors by this one drop it has formed. There are n number of drops available on the surface of the earth after the rain. So, through n number of drops, all the light rays contribute the this band of colors that leads to a long rainbow in a form of circle around the earth. Okay, so therefore we can see, since we are on the hemisurface, we can see half of the rainbow only. Okay, that is the formation of rainbow. So because of critical angle 42 degrees, if it is more than 40 degrees, the light ray, if it has incident, then only it will go TIR process, means internal reflection process. Otherwise, it will travel straight if it is below the 42 degrees. There is a chance of formation of more than one rainbow also. Okay, but in such case, what happened? The light ray which is going under total internal reflection, again this incident angle also supposed to have more than the critical angle, then it will go again TIR process. Then if it will go again after incidenting back, then again it will come and will reflect back and will form a band of colors opposite to this, means inverted to the first rainbow. That gives a second rainbow. Like this, more than one rainbow is also possible. Okay. Now, application of refraction, atmospheric refraction. Refraction not only happen through the prism and glass slab or lenses or any only optical mediums. Here there is natural optical medium is also there, which are living. That is nothing but atmosphere. So atmosphere looks like it's a transparent medium, it's homogeneous medium. Okay. Through that homogeneous medium, if you are noticing from the earth, the star's position. Okay. Actually, stars looks at longer distance from us. Okay. But actually stars are at longer distance, but not actually they are not the long, which they are apparent position. So with comparing with the real position. When you look at the sky, the stars are blinking or twinkling on the sky. From the stars, the light is coming towards the earth. The stars are in a vacuum and the light is entering into the denser medium, that is air medium. So the way the light, whenever it has entered into the denser medium, obviously the light ray will bend. Okay, it's bending. That's supposed to come like this. It's bending and coming like this. So if you draw a normal, you'll get to know how much it has bent here. So in the bending direction, if you are extending the dotted lines like this, here one image of star will be appear, or the position of star appears. Actual position of the star, real position is here. This appearing because of the bending of the light. Means bending in which phenomena? Nothing but refraction. Due to refraction of light, when light ray passes from relative denser medium, it bends towards a normal. Okay, along the bending light direction, if you see the object or stars, it appears at the longer distance than its actual distance. Okay, so that's what the basic reason. The stars appears at the longer distance than its actual position. Okay, this is nothing but apparent height concept. Here you can see very clearly. This is the position of the star, and when the refractive index increasing means it is entering into the denser medium from the rarer medium. So the way this is a star in the sense, okay, it appears whenever it will be entered, it bending. Okay, in bending direction, if you draw a line, it's supposed to appear here. Okay, means here in terms of distance, they have shown the diagram. Actually, the position appears is here. They have separated to understand longer distance and shorter distance, like that they are seeing. Actually, apparent position is shorter distance. This is longer distance. It is apparent. This diagram is supposed to come here. Okay. So that is nothing but refraction in a case of atmosphere. Twinkling of stars. Why stars just twinkle? Obviously, stars are lightning objects which are a longer distance, and through the refraction, it became so much longer. It appears. So when the light is coming from the longer distance, it appears to see through the atmosphere, okay, in a form of blinking or twinkling. Whereas some of the stars near the moon cannot be twinkled, they can see as it is. That type of stars we call as planets, which are very near planet to our Earth, like Venus and Mars. But stars are appears at longer distance, they will twinkle. So this twinkling happen due to the atmosphere of the Earth. The light, whenever it passes through the atmosphere, it appears. And the stars at longer distance appears in a size of point also. So though it is appearing in a form of due to appearance of the point size and at longer distance to the atmosphere, so it looks like twinkle. Okay, but in a case of planets which are very near to us, that's simply we will say that it is not twinkling because there appears as extended object which are very near to us, whereas stars are longer distance and appears in a form of point size object. Okay, that's why stars appears in a form of twinkling. Now one more refraction, sunlight. Usually, as per the refraction of light, when light ray enters on any surface, 90 degrees angle, it will not deviate. We have studied in a first phase of refraction. Okay, and here the light rays are at the horizontal distance when you are seeing, that is nothing but at evening times and morning times. When sun rising, sun appears in a color of red. Basically, they are at the longer distance. So from the longer distance, larger wavelength light, red only appears. So sun appears red or orange color. Now, in that case, when sun rising, actually sun rising position is here. Sun rising position at 6 o'clock in the sense, and at 5:50 or 5:58 only, the sun appears at this position. Actual sun rising time is 6 o'clock. But at 5:55, that time only it appears here. Why it is so? Why it is happen like that? The light ray which is coming from the sun, it's coming from the vacuum to denser medium, atmosphere. So it is bending. Okay, see here, the light ray which is coming here, it is bending. If you are there here as an observer on the surface of the earth, you are seeing the bending light ray. So in the direction of bending light ray, if you are extending the light rays, this is the position of the sun which appears to the observer. The same thing is happen while sun setting. While sun setting is also happening, same thing. The sun set is happen at 6 o'clock, but still the sun appears in the sky because the light ray which is coming from the sun is has bent. Okay, so whenever it has crossed the medium relative denser, it will bend. So the observer will notice the sun position here along the bending light direction. So this is happen in a case of refraction of light to the atmosphere while sun rising and sun setting. There is some advance time takes place in a case of rising and it delays in a case of sunset. Now, in the same manner, when the light ray enters in a noon time, if you look at the sun, the noon time sun looks like in a white color because the light ray which is comes from the sun is straight down 90 degrees angle. Okay, it will not deviate in such case. So that's why it appears in white color. The light ray will not bend; it will go straight without deviation. Tyndall effect. Nothing but this is a under the refraction. We can go another topic, that is scattering of light. What do you mean by scattering of light? What is this scattering? In billiards games or snookers, when you hit one ball with another ball, then it go and collide and will fall in a goal. Or in a carom, you will see when you hit with a striker. Same way, Tyndall effect is nothing but here. scattering of light in the sense when white light ray coming from the sun passing to the atmosphere, some of the light rays get absorbed, some of the light rays passing to each and every particle of the atmosphere. So while it is passing to the atmosphere or to the some of the solution, then the outcome light will be changed and the color of light also changes at certain time. So in such things it is happening only in the scattering of light. In that one phenomena is Tyndall effect. This Tyndall effect is nothing but when a beam of light passes through the colloidal solution like salt solution and all. The path of light becomes visible due to scattering of light by the colliding particles. This is known as Tyndall effect. The visible due to scattering of light by the colloidal particles is known as Tyndall effect. Means with the light rays we are colliding the particles which are there in the solution. So that also you can see through the dense forest, the light rays which are coming between the two small leaves, how it is entering. That also explains the scattering of light. So the Earth's atmosphere contains air molecules. We know that so many air molecules and water drops are available, dust and smoke available. Through each and every particle, light rays try to enter. Okay. Usually from the sun, when light passes, the light become visible due to the scattering of light. Okay, by these particles only. This scattered light depends on the size of its scattering particles because some area the scattering particles are very smaller, some area it is very larger. Okay, usually through small particles the blue light can transmit or can pass or scatter. Why blue light? Blue light is on the smaller wavelength, so blue light can pass through each and every small fine particles. So that's why the sky appears in a color of blue because it emits out blue color. Whereas red will not be because red light cannot pass since it is having the higher wavelength. So that's why only blue color it can be appear in the sky to the atmosphere. See here, you can notice two different solutions when you are allowing to pass the light, how the particles behave inside, how the image will be appear. This is normal water and this is a colloidal solution. At evening time through the window, the light rays which are coming, is all scattered light actually. There are dust particles available evening time. So through the dust particles, the light rays are coming and you can see so many dust particles in that. This is by the scattering of light only you can notice. The dense forest, a fine beam of light rays which are coming between the tree branches and leaves is also we can take as an example of scattering of light and Tyndall effect. Now, the question is that why is the color of the clear skies appears blue? Just now I told you. A fine particle in the atmosphere have the size smaller than the wavelength of visible light, right? So they can scatter blue light, which has a shorter wavelength than red light, which has a longer wavelength. Already we were discussed. Red light is having the longer wavelength, so it cannot be passed through small particles in atmosphere or in sky. So that's why it appears only in color of blue. When sunlight passes through the atmosphere, the fine particle in the atmosphere scatter the blue color more strongly than the red, and so the sky appears blue. Okay, if the Earth had no atmosphere, let us say how it would be. There would not be any scattering of light, and the sky would appear only the dark, which appears in the space. If you go above the Earth into the space, completely dark it appears. The sky appears dark at high altitudes because of this is a reason. So you're finding here the pictures of the refraction of the light, the atmosphere. We were discussed already. At sun, whenever it is at the overhead or at the noon times, the light rays which are coming from the sun towards the earth will not deviate, will enter 90 degrees angle or normal to the surface, therefore it will not deviate. So sun is appearing in a color of white, and as usual we will see the sky and the sun because there is no deviation of light at that time. Okay, usually which will not take place at the sunrise and sunset time. This is all about the human eye which we were discussed and colorful world. Please subscribe and like and share and give me a valuable suggestion to enhance my videos, to produce nice videos for you all. Thank you, viewers. Thank you very much. I'm signing out from this lesson. Thank you very much.